Okay, making a little bit of progress on the Kenyon Midget build. Here we've got the engine in. Sorry we didn't show you that in progress, but we needed all of our hands to basically get the engine in. But pretty straightforward. Couple of mounting bolts here, a couple of mounting points here, and then a couple on the other side. And that baby's in place and ready to get all of the additional items fastened up to it. Along with that, we've got the oil filter mounted to the frame. This is a new bracket that we've come up with. I think I mentioned before, we'll be doing some new parts as we go through this process. This is a good example. So in the past, that was just a handmade aluminum bracket, a little bit time consuming to hack out and make look halfway decent. But we just catted this up and sent it off to get laser cut out of aluminum. So not a super expensive process, but gives us a nice part. And I think it'll be good for our cars going forward. We're gonna try a slightly different fuel pump on this car. This is a Holley fuel pump. A little bit less expensive than the ones that have been running in the series. So hopefully that's gonna be a cost save for people. In this case, we're gonna mount it down low on the firewall here. So this is the KRC filters that we're using. These are really nice. They have a stainless steel element, so easy to clean, easy to check whenever you're doing things. And one thing that's important is to make sure your fuel flows towards the end of the screen like this. So fuel will be flowing from this side in, and then when you take it out to clean, all of your debris will be caught on the screen here. The fuel filter mounted up to the frame, and from here we'll be using, we like to use just a little seamstress tape, so we'll use this to sort of measure from the pickup point at the fuel cell down to the filter, and then measure again from the filter coming out this way up to the bulkhead fitting at the motor plate, and likewise around to the fuel pump and back around. So we'll be measuring out all of the lines for oil and fuel. We'll be working with Earl's Indy down in Indianapolis to make custom hoses for these cars. Good thing is we'll have sort of a standard now that we can use as people need spares. We'll have everything measured out and ready to go and can get standard parts made by Earl's. So that's the next step. Those parts are in process, so we hope to get those soon, and we'll start getting things plumbed up. All right, front axle going together. We use this day lube on the kingpins, put it in the kingpin bushings. I already got that done. Front hub and spindles are already together. And then spacers on the bottom, bearings, shim up to take all the slop out. There's just barely a little bit of movement there. Spins nice and easy. Some blue Loctite on the bottom kingpin cap. This is this newer style direct mount front hubs. We're using Velcro hubs and a steel DMI rotor. All right, front spindle's all on, kingpins in. Next up, brake calipers. This is the Willwood 2-piston calipers we use on the fronts. So we'll get those in. Again, a little bit of blue Loctite on the bolts. Justin's getting those going. We'll get ready for brake pads. These are the pads we're using pretty much on everything. We use the BP40 compound from Willwood. It's good, fairly aggressive, but works well even at cold temperatures, so it doesn't need a lot of time to get up to temp and start working. One thing I note with this brake caliper mounted up high like this, we'll have to basically take one of these bolts out and rotate the caliper up when we bleed. So you see the two bleed screws are just pointing sideways now.
So, no.
Yeah. Also, it's pretty tight clearance between the head of this bolt and the caliper, so you have to make sure these studs are Loctited in, and check those pretty regularly too, because as you tighten up your wheels, sometimes those will come loose and push back towards the caliper. So a couple things to keep an eye on. So like these bolts you don't have to kill, because like I said, they'll be coming in and out quite a bit as you rotate the caliper up to do bleeding. So we'll get them snugged up. Pull the clip out for the brake pads. I need a flathead screwdriver. Yeah, that one's item. There you go. Pad's all clicked in, so that corner's ready to go. We'll put the fitting on once we get the axle in the car and get brake lines and stuff mounted up. But so that's basically front axle complete, ready to go in. One more item that we got finished up here this week. As we're waiting on parts to come in, we're sort of doing things out of order and assembling parts that we have in stock at the time. So a little this will be out of order, but we'll give you some steps as we go. This is the rear brake rotor for the Kenyon Midget. It's a Willwood part, center hub that goes onto the axle, bolted to a adapter plate, and Bug's coming up to help. I'll say hi, Bug. And then these all get safety wire. These are things you don't want coming loose. Dustin put this all together, getting good at doing the safety wire jobs for us. So basically the point of the safety wire, if you're not familiar with it, is to basically wrap around the head of the bolt in a fashion so that the bolt's tight and the wire will hold the bolt from trying to loosen up and rotate back the other way. So that's why all the safety wire is going in the direction that it's going. But this is all ready to go. So once we get our new rear end in from DMI, we'll get this assembled to the rear end and we'll have rear brakes.